Donald Trump is following through on his promise to seek an end to the war in Ukraine. Last week, he initiated a phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. This conversation, which took place on Thursday, was not disclosed to the public, possibly due to its sensitive content. During the call, Trump reportedly made 4 key points. He urged Putin to avoid escalating the conflict, reminded him of the U.S. military presence in Europe as a warning, called for further discussions to resolve the war, and suggested the possibility of Ukraine ceding some territory for peace. On the Russian side, officials claim the call never took place and label it as fiction, although they acknowledge that Trump's potential victory could be beneficial. President Putin even referred to Trump as a manly leader, a compliment that Trump likely appreciates. However, whether these discussions will lead to a ceasefire in Ukraine remains uncertain, hinging on several factors. First, what is Trump's actual plan? According to reports from 3 of his staff, Trump aims to freeze the current front lines and establish a 1,200 kilometers buffer zone, which he wants European soldiers to patrol, possibly from Germany, France, or the UK, but not the US. Russia might agree to this arrangement if Ukraine abandons its NATO ambitions, while Ukraine might consider it if the US continues to supply it with weapons as a deterrent against further Russian aggression. This proposal raises significant questions, such as whether European nations will enforce the buffer zone, if Ukraine will relinquish territory, and if Russia will allow Ukraine to rearm. Overall, it seems like a long shot, but it is a starting point compared to the ongoing conflict. Next, what can President Biden achieve in his remaining 70 days in office? Reports indicate he will meet with Trump on Wednesday, where he may try to influence his stance on Ukraine, though this seems unlikely. Trump has excluded pro-Ukraine figures from his team, and Biden's window for action is narrowing, especially with a new Congress expected to be under Republican control starting in January. Biden could request Congress to approve another aid package for Ukraine, but that's a tough proposition. Alternatively, he might consider transferring frozen Russian state assets to Ukraine, valued at about $5 billion, or lifting restrictions on U.S. weapons use in strikes against Russia. The third factor is what Ukraine's European allies can do. The EU's top diplomat visited Kyiv recently to reaffirm unwavering support for Ukraine, which is essential for its defense against Russian aggression. The UK's Prime Minister is also demonstrating solidarity by attending French Armistice Day ceremonies, marking a significant moment of Western unity. However, despite these gestures, the financial support from Europe falls short. The EU has contributed $131 billion to Ukraine, while the US has provided $174 billion. Europe needs to secure more funding quickly, leaving Ukraine and President Zelensky in a precarious position. The situation is exacerbated by recent Russian drone attacks, which have caused casualties in Ukraine, while Ukraine has retaliated with drone strikes against various regions in Russia, including Moscow. This surge in drone activity might be aimed at demonstrating Ukraine's capabilities to Trump. However, the overall advantage lies with Russia, which had a successful October, advancing further into Ukrainian territory. Now, Zelensky faces a tough decision: accept Trump's proposal and risk losing land, or rely on European support to continue the fight, potentially leading to losses on the battlefield. In either scenario, Vladimir Putin emerges as the winner, as his initial gamble on Western solidarity weakening appears to be materializing nearly 1,000 days after the invasion began.